Okay, to answer the first question, the answer is no, I'm not dead. I went into some form of hiatus after finishing exams because I wanted to make sure that all of the loose ends were tied up before I left university, i.e. I wanted to spend time with my friends before I had to say goodbye to them for quite a long while. But we've got so much to catch up on because in the weeks that I've been making videos, so much has happened. My life has changed completely. So over the course of the next couple of days, I'm going to be uploading various videos that will go through the journey chronologically. And as we're going this chronologically, let's now pretend that I'm still in exam mode. So to go into exam mode, imagine that I am emotionally drained, mentally drained, my hand physically hurts, and I've been living in the library for at least like 10 hours every single day. Yeah, as exams got closer and I actually got into the flow of things, I ended up upping the intensity of the work I was doing, so I basically would be in the library except for when having breakfast, sleeping, and having lunch and dinner. This was primarily because there was a period within my exam timetable in which I had an exam on Friday, and then 2 exams on Saturday, and then 1 exam on the Monday. So within the space of 4 days, that was 50% of my entire degree, and I've got to say, I was a little bit panicked about this predicament. The exam on the Friday was the one I was least comfortable with because you have to be very, very precise in everything that you know to be able to answer the question. It was history of philosophy, so you need to know about your Descartes and your Hume inside out, also Locke and Spinoza and Kant if you're doing those papers as well. But for the sake of argument, we're going to focus on Hume and Descartes. So I sit down, do the exam, open up the paper, and oh my god, of all the topics I revise, one of them comes up, and I've got to panic and think of ways of answering all these other ones when it's asking you about Hume's theory of ideas and what it means to have the missing shade of blue, and I was very... Actually, I had fun. I actually had quite a bit of fun. That's one of my favourite exams, despite the fact that I did not have a comprehensive knowledge of the topics that I was answering questions on, but that just allowed me to think on my feet, and I found that incredibly enjoyable. And 2 of my other friends actually were in similar predicaments, and when we came out, we were both like, yeah, it wasn't ideal, but it was fun. And I suppose that is the point of doing an exam, for fun. So upon having that fun, there was absolutely no rest, because the next day I had Chinese politics and comparative government in the other order. Comparative government could be 2 papers. The amount of material that you need to know is quite ridiculous, and the amount that you need to know for China is also quite substantial, so I needed to cram all of this knowledge into my head. And I ended up waking up at 5 AM on that day so I could go to the library and do 4 more hours of revision for comparative government, and then I ended up having a coffee after the comparative government, and then I just did the China exam, and I finished all 3 essays, and I had 10 minutes to spare. So I went to sleep. I was so tired, and I had a headache throughout the entire exam, probably from lack of sleep and from the caffeine and from the fact that... But yeah, it went well. I answered 3 questions. I quite like my arguments. I'm never going to do that again. I like sleep. Sleep is good. Oh, and why not? So I had my head on the desk, and I was like this, and then they said, right, put down your pens. I look up. I'm like that. I'm like... Hey, I'm staring into the eyes of the examiner who's across the hall from me, and they're just giving me a look like, was he sleeping? He was sleeping, wasn't he? Whoa. So either they thought that I was incredibly in control of everything that I was doing, or they thought that I'd given up. I couldn't go on. Then we come to the final exam, which was Japanese politics on the Monday, and that was an afternoon exam, and the examiner decided not to put a human rights question on the paper, despite the fact that he is a human rights specialist, and every other year previous to this exam paper, he put a human rights question on this paper, and wasn't really that impressed with that, but it was fine. I answered 3 questions. Can you hear that alarm? See, look, even the environment's not happy with that. What he did wasn't on. Now I just want to reflect a little bit on this exam period before going into the post-exam celebrations, which will be the next video, i.e. the next video will be a montage all about me and some of my friends getting trashed. So look forward to that one, because you'll get to see all of us covered in ridiculous things with just a ridiculous smile on our face. Yeah, doing the exam period was very interesting because I ended up becoming institutionalized in that I would wake up at this time, go to the library straight away, work, lunch, work, dinner, work, bed. That was my life, and that was my life for quite some time. And it seems I'm kind of confused right now as to this freedom that I have to do whatever I want, whenever I want. We'll get on to the limitations of that in, I think, the third video I'm doing in this, but it was fun. It was really nice to focus so clearly and so intensely on one particular area, i.e. the academic area of my life, and to be able to read newspapers, to read journals, to read books, and be able to have a critical opinion of all of the things that were being communicated. For instance, I was listening to The Economist earlier on today, and they were saying something about Hong Kong, and I was like, that's just wrong. They've got this wrong. This is incorrect. I could send a letter in, and that letter would be valid. You know what? I'm kind of rambling. I'm just going to work on the next video, because the next video is far more exciting, because that's the end of exams. There you go. That's my little anecdote from the exam season, and oh, it was intense. And it was rewarding, and I get the results, I think, mid-July, so I'm going to hold my opinion of exams and how beneficial they are until I get my results in, because I feel as though that's going to heavily influence how I feel about these things. I'll see you in a couple of days. If you'd like to get a sneak peek of what I am actually up to at the moment, check out my Twitter, because I am tweeting about this work situation that I'm currently finding myself in, and I'm loving it. Do you like the new studio? I put it all back up, back at home. This is like home. I'm no longer at uni, I've left. I got kicked out a couple of days ago. And I've got some of your postcards entries featuring in the wall. There's one there, look at that one. Yeah, just wanted to share that with you.